everybody, welcome back to Rants and Headaches. Thank you so much for watching. And today I am sharing my thoughts on why I think it's important for women to treat men the way they want to be treated. So first off, I just want to clarify, this is not a gender role thing. This is just about respect in general. I get that when it comes to respect, women might have different standards than what men want. This is more about addressing sexism from women. There are plenty of things to call out when it comes to men. There's actually some MGTOW content that I'm going to be covering in the next 2 months, 3 months, something like that. I have enough content ideas and plans to get me through like the next 6 months. So don't worry. There will be plenty of time to address issues with men. But this is really one of the things that kind of makes me understand why people have an issue with feminism. I grew up believing that feminism was bad, it was destroying the family, but even worse, it was destroying the country and, you know, feminazis and blah, 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 blah. Feminism was just this awful thing, which I don't think was really fair. The point was not to teach me that advances for women are bad, but that ended up just kind of becoming the message, even if that wasn't the intent. But it's undeniable that feminism seems to have a lot of hypocrisy. And my thing is this, okay? If you're gonna be out there complaining about sexism and how women are treated and all this other stuff, but you go around treating men any which way you please and you expect them to tolerate it just because, I can't respect that. That's just crappy behavior, okay? Crappy behavior. Whether you're an activist or not, regardless of whether or not you actually consider yourself a feminist or not, that's just not a way to behave. And I get really frustrated with women who are out there justifying their sexism against men. You are infuriated when men do that. Infuriated when men try to justify their sexism against women. Nothing makes your blood boil more, but it's okay for you to act like that. I just don't get it. I've always felt this way, but there have been a few recent conversations where this kind of back and forth took place, where a woman made a really broad generalization and men tried to kind of say, hey, don't generalize all of us, we're not all awful. And the response was basically all these excuses of women saying, but I experience this all the time from men. Well, excuse me. Well, you've experienced this for more than one man. That makes it different. Sexism is okay in that instance. What about men who were sexist? You don't think they had more than one bad experience with women? A lot of them have. Does that make their sexism okay? Nope. Not really. To argue that it's okay to be sexist because you've had these bad experiences or you've seen these kind of bad behaviors from many different men is just a stupid argument. If you don't want to be stereotyped, then don't be out there stereotyping. I mean, seriously, this is not a difficult concept. We're not talking about anything hard. And my thing is, if you want to act like that, that's one thing. But when you want to act like that and simultaneously speak out about anyone treating women that way, I think you've got some growing up to do. I think you have some serious growing up to do. It's immature, it's childish. Stereotyping in general is something that I think people should avoid. It can be harmful in a lot of ways. It often gets people to have these negative views of certain groups, and most of it's stuff that's not even that truthful. I get that some stereotypes come from some level of truth, but a lot of them are just perpetuated by people who are very bitter and angry, and that's really no one else's problem but theirs. And also, if you're someone who wants to be out here speaking out about how stereotypes hurt a certain group, to act like that same lesson, which is a valuable lesson in my opinion, just doesn't apply when we're talking about men, that makes zero logical sense. You're just a sexist person out here lecturing other people on how to not be sexist. You sound like an anti-racist activist out here trying to teach us how to not be racist. It's foolishness. And you know what? There are a lot of common behaviors among men that are a problem. Men, for example, are by far more responsible for violent crimes like sexual assault, rape, home invasions, and robberies. So I'm not saying that women can't talk about their bad experiences with men, or that behaviors of men shouldn't be called out, or that we shouldn't be having conversations about how to deal with issues among men. Because let's just be honest, there are a lot. But if you can agree with me on all of that, but you are offended and angered if anyone tries to talk about things that are wrong that women do, I just find that to be really disingenuous. And feminists are not the only ones, by the way, who are hypocritical about this. I see this a lot of time from conservatives. They're offended by the phrase toxic masculinity. They're offended by the very suggestion that any bad common behaviors among men should change, but when it's time to talk about what's wrong with women, oh, they're all about it. I just find that to be really, really funny. You guys want to act all offended and confused if someone doesn't understand why you're voting against yourself. But this is how a lot of conservatives think, and they don't see anything wrong with it. But anyways, I'll talk about them in a different video. Right now we're talking about hypocritical feminists. If you really want to be someone who is out here speaking out against sexism, then you need to not be sexist. You should lead by example. And if you cannot be an example on not being sexist, then I don't think you should be talking about this stuff. I don't think sexism against women is any of your concern unless you care about sexism against men. Now, I realize that objectively I do think sexism is worse against women, but it's not like sexism doesn't hurt men. I just don't think you should be out here making these arguments that men should be treating women well, but women can treat men however they please. I mean, the logic issue itself is one thing, okay? You're not making any rational sense here. But I feel like it's also a moral issue as well. You're so passionate about addressing sexism against women, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're doing it because you believe that it's wrong. If you believe sexism is wrong, I just think you should act like it. You're so upset over double standards, but you see fit to apply double standards to your own beliefs. It's ridiculous. If you don't want to be told who you are and who you have to be because you're a woman, then why should men have to accept that? And if you can't understand what's wrong with that, then please stop. And that is all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, half this video, or even just a quarter of this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe.